So on your camera repairs, a lot of times what happens is the phones won't open the camera application, and that's typically something with the camera itself. So whether it's your rear-facing camera or your front-facing camera, a lot of times your phone won't take a picture or even open the shutter, or maybe the color is off. Typically that's the camera that's bad, and I'll show you how to replace both of those right now. So we'll go here. We have two cameras on two different parts. So on your frame, the housing, here's your front-facing camera, and the light sensor is built in. So this is also going to replace the light sensor. If you go to put the phone up to your face and the screen, the backlight doesn't shut off, you'll want to replace the front-facing camera. And we'll show you how to do that in just a minute. On here, on the board, you have the camera itself up to the locking plug on this part holding the camera in. And I'll show you here on the close-up what that looks like. So you have the adhesive or the plastic protection over the plug itself. So what we'll do is you want to peel this off, and what I do is I'll normally just set it right there on the cover for the camera, and then getting here, it's just this locking flange, basically this locking flap, and you just kind of lift it and it pops it up. Now this unit is held on with adhesive onto the board. So what we will end up doing is coming in from the side and getting underneath and separating the camera unit from the board and get that adhesive across. So we'll go back to the overhead. I'll set this one aside for right now, and we'll work on this one. So you get in here, you can kind of lift it from the side, and you can see a little bit of separation. What you will want to be extremely careful of is not lifting the entire unit up sideways, because if you do that, you'll damage the plug up here. So what you want to do is start more towards the bottom, and we'll start down here and just kind of work our way from this way underneath and up. And as you do that, you'll just slowly separate the adhesive, keeping the top of this flat. And then once you get enough separation, you can just kind of work it in a little bit underneath, again minding that locking plug right there, and eventually just sliding it down and out. Now you may get adhesive on here, that's fine, not a big deal, but we'll set that aside. And if you need to add new adhesive, you can do that. Just put a little strip right there, and that way it'll help secure your new camera in place. So we'll get the new camera right here, and just kind of do the reverse, making sure you slide it in. We'll go back to the close-up because I'm going to show you this right here, that the camera has this white line across it. Well, you'll be able to see that on either side of the line on the board there's two gold lines, and you want to make sure that all those lines line up straight. And if they line up straight, then you know your camera is in as far as it should be. So we'll go back to the overhead, and as long as those lines are straight, then we'll just drop that flap down, make sure it locks into place. You don't want to push it too hard, and remember to get your old adhesive or the old film, cover that up, and then there's your front-facing camera, or your rear-facing camera, excuse me. So now we'll go to the front-facing camera, And you have two screws. You have a screw there and a screw there holding the holding this to the housing itself. And really all you have to do is remove those two screws, kind of lift that up. It should wiggle right out, and you'll notice that that's the light sensor, and it's part of this cable. So once you get that out, should be adhesive that you can just kind of separate. You just give it a little twist and it should pop the frame off of the camera, and you set that aside and get your new camera. Now what you may or may not need to do is there should be a rubber seal around that, and what we'll do is we'll line our new camera up, get that in place, and we'll get that in place, and then the seal is right here. And that either way, you can lay it right in the housing itself, or you can put it on the camera. It may be easier just to lay it in the housing because you can tell what way it goes. You have your flat surface where the sensor sits, and then you have this little lip right here to the right. And if you notice that it's flat, and then you have sort of a lip out here to the right. So if you do that, you can just kind of sit it in there, line it up, make sure you can still see through the glass where the sensors are going to be, and then get your camera, make sure you line up sensors on the left, cameras on the right, and it should line up and go in place. If it doesn't, you may need to check to make sure there's no obstructions in the way, but once you get it all lined up, put your first screw in, kind of hold it, get your second screw and hold it, and then remember to test the phone, make sure everything's working. But that's how you replace your cameras.